where the Nigerian Senate on Thursday lamented the worsening spate of insecurity in the country and called on President Bola Tinubu to immediately review security strategies to curtail the unfortunate development. The Senate's position came in the wake of a motion sponsored by Senator Nasiru Sani Zangon Daura of APC Katsina North. The Red Chamber also sought increased collaboration between security agencies and state governments on matters of security. The lawmakers specifically urged President Tinubu to initiate a thorough review and evaluation of the strategies employed by security agencies in the northwest and north-central geopolitical zones, as well as to consider the deployment of additional security personnel and special task forces to identified hotspots to ensure the protection of lives and property. Now, Dayo, Sobowale, a Rise News analyst, is here to discuss this matter further. Welcome to Newsday. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here. Good
afternoon. Right. This is the pain that won't go away, which is insecurity. When I looked at the report from that session in the Senate yesterday, one thing stuck out to me, which was that there was a suggestion of a creation of a task force that would evaluate the effectiveness and implications of negotiating with bandits. What's your take as we begin to unpack these proposed new strategies to tackle insecurity, especially that of exploring the effectiveness and implications of negotiating with bandits?
Well, talking about negotiating with bandits, the senator said there that they regularly negotiate with bandits. So in spite of the government's effort and policy not to negotiate with bandits, he lives in the area. He represents people in the area. So you know where the issue burns or hurts. You see, this is a very realistic assessment of the insecurity in the northeast, in the northwest, and north central. And you see, they are throwing the ball at the court of the president, the presidency. But it should be a joint effort. These are legislators. They know the laws to make peace reign in their area. But as it is, I don't take them seriously, I must confess to you. And I'll tell you why. The religio-cultural factor is very prevalent in the attitude of northern senators to the issue of banditry, kidnapping, and Islamic jihad. The recent example was what happened in the Niger Republic. Mm-hmm. The president was trying to be the ECOWAS statesman and bring people aboard. But it was people in the north, Islamic leaders, who bent his arm that cannot do that, even though you are president of ECOWAS. Now look at the scenario. The states in the Sahel have formed a confederation of alliance of Sahel states, and they are military juntas. They have denied France and have moved in the direction of Russia. But you see, they are in conflict with themselves and with their ideas and with their strategy, just as we are in Nigeria. In Mali, the jihadists, the Tuaregs, came from the desert, Libya and all that. The first states, after the 2001 uprising, 2011 uprising, yeah. Which they overthrew Gaddafi. They are, Libya is almost a failed state. Mm-hmm. There is no regular government in Libya. They are warlords. If you do not take time to degenerate to that, you do not bring your boxer to the ring to fight an opponent, and you tell him you can only win with one hand held behind it. Yeah. That is one. And then I have an adage that fits what I'm trying to put across. You cannot be the hunter and be running with the hunted. Mm. And I give you a third one. This is it's a favorite adage of mine. They say in the purchase of a tiger, both the seller and the buyer look at the merchandise from a distance. That's what they are made of insecurity in Nigeria. And I will elaborate. You see, the clamor has always been to change the service chiefs. Yeah. But you know that has not worked anyway. Because, you see, again, another American say, we have seen the enemy and the enemy is us. That is what is happening. You see, Boko Haram insurgency, anti-Western way of life insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, and Fulani jihadism. They are all issues that hold back the unity of government and unanimity of the security forces in eliminating what they are talking about. And they know it. You see, my only suggestion now is that, well, it may sound extravagant. You know, Texas, the border state in the U.S., immigrants they are creating insecurity. And there is clashing between Governor George Abbott and President Clinton all over the time. But he knows his powers. He's gone to the he has balls because the federal government is supporting open border. And he says these immigrants are security. So he made law in his own state that these people should not come, and they went to the Supreme Court. But before the Supreme Court standard, before the Supreme Court made the decision, he has been carrying by bus some immigrants, illegal, to some states that say that they support right up to New York. That's a local solution. Let these senators, northern senators in the Senate, find a way of persuading these marauders, these jihadists, to cooperate with the federal government. Do you get me? Or else it will get to a state where the ECOWAS president will be literally manhandled by Islamist imams on the basis of culture.
All right, Mr. Sobowale, based on the complexities you've highlighted, is it time to think out of the box on current security strategies? What will it take?
Yes, what they are trying to say is that the presidency should take over. Because that's abandoning responsibility. They represent the people in the area. It's like we were discussing yesterday, the issue of I think it's still insecurity. Insecurity. And you could see senators from the victim states of what we are talking about food insecurity. And see, that don't cost across. Many people, they are Christian states, Northeast, Northwest, and they are Muslim states. And these are the people, there are areas where they are killing people. And if you look at our geopolitical structure and the distribution of power and largesse, the largest number of people in power in this country are from those areas. But when this same government, they are trying to call into action, declares that it wants it, because what they are saying is that they should do this, deploy more people to their areas. The rationale is that they don't have enough people there. But the people there, in some cases, have said that, you see, once they were displaced by these security people and put in IDP camps, they take over their cities and their villages, and they don't want to go, and that they want to go back to their villages. And government has not given us state police. Government has not given power to state governors. And it's these senators that will hold back the hand of government in doing that. You see, you can't laugh from both or cry from both sides of your mouth. Like Desmond Tutu said when he said he came pleading with Abacha. He said what he saw on the ground, he didn't know whether to cry or laugh. That is the situation we are in now. So the clamor call for government to intervene, I don't think it is sincere. Because when it comes to crucial execution, these same people will stand up and challenge the authority of the presidency.
You're absolutely right on that. Now, where do we go from here? Because I know another one of the suggestions or talking points was that, well, the commander-in-chief needs to give timelines to the service chiefs and let them know that these are the parameters you're working with. What are your thoughts on that angle?
Well, if you do that, see, the service chiefs are not appointed on a geopolitical basis. And the ranks of the leadership of the Nigerian military has been, supplanted by change of the, because if you put an army chief out, all, it cannot be, okay, and you put in a new one. All those who are senior to that will automatically retire. You remember the other time, they retired, they did ceremony for about 100 generals, pull out parade. We cannot continue like that. What is needed is effective strategy on the battlefield. Intelligence cooperation between the armed forces. And support, real support for the armed forces. And you do not need to fall into this situation between Hamas and Israel. Even right now, the Gazans want the Hamas to leave them alone, but they dare not speak out. Do you get me now? They dare not speak out. And the Hamas is using them as human shield. And technology detects that. It says the hospital is a prayer point and so on. But they have the technology to know where the missile is coming from, and they hit that place. We have tried this in Nigeria. You have seen situations where the Air Force have been said to have hit children and all that. So you need the will of the leadership and the cooperation of the community. See, we are fighting within Nigeria. In Gaza, they are resisting Israeli occupation. These are two different things. If our own military do not have the support and cooperation, you get me, and trust of the local community, there's no way we can win the war against terrorism.
Which brings me to the next question, yes. Mr. Sobowale. Still on the defense chiefs, as it were. In fairness to them, there have been, I think I remember about sometime last year, about almost 2 years ago, thereabouts, there's been this clamor by them that, hey, look, we've been doing quite enough to apprehend criminals, bandits, terrorists, but unfortunately, institutions from the legal perspective haven't been too proactive. You can imagine a scenario whereby a criminal is caught, and in the next 2-3 weeks, he's out there in the streets. So in that scenario, how can they be encouraged to do more when they've done so much and even lost so much to achieve that aim, you know? And at the end of the day, that's where we find ourselves.
That is the duty of government. Government must go by its own rules. What you have said is happening in the US, the so-called progressive states. They say that they have been jailing blacks more than they put. That if you are a suspect, you're a black, you are going to be shot or put it. So they have relaxed rules to punish criminals. As a result, you have people who are just released going to kill people.
But isn't that an indictment on the, you know, the legal, the legal system, as it were?
But it's an ideology of a particular part of the nation. You get me? I don't. That's not our own ideology. Our own is here incompetence or corruption. And you see, what these northern senators are pointing out, the government has been incompetent in protecting them. And I'm saying they are part of the problem and part of the solution.
On that
Yes.
Mr. Sobowale, this has been a very insightful conversation, and again, we continue to look for solutions and for a way forward.